Okay, now if all you're wanting to do is just to level out the mask, get yourself some wire mesh. You know, it's just a bunch of wires put together. It's flimsy, easy to manipulate and cut it with a pair of scissors. Then take some measuring tape and measure across your nose, length and width, and cut out a piece that is long enough for that, you know, length and width. Do it in one piece. The width of a ruler is wide enough for the pieces. And then take that mesh and tape it down to the mask with duct tape. That's what I found sticks to the plaster the best. And then take your plaster cloth and put one layer going one way, and then do the second layer going the second way. You only need two, because you don't want to make it too much bigger than that. If you're wanting to add large bumps to the mask, you can take some Kleenex, toilet paper, paper towels, cotton balls, newspaper, and crumple it up, and then tape it down to the mask in the general shape you want that bump to be, and then put 2 layers of the cloth on that, let it dry, and if you need to build on that, like it needs to start coming out here and then go this way, let that plaster cloth dry, put another piece on there, cover it, let it dry, and build on it. If you need to add some like details to it, like dips, cracks, scars, something along those lines. You can use some air drying clay. Don't get Crayola's air dry clay, because the thinner it gets, the more it's going to crack. But if you are going to have some details on that bump, wait until you fiberglass the mask, because if you put the details in it now and then fiberglass it, it's going to make the details a lot less. Now if you're needing something on the mask, like you're just going to do a simple straight line or a corner or something you need like that, I would suggest trying to recreate it with poster board. To make it easier when you're recreating something with poster board, use Ghost Line, because it has a 1/2-inch grid already drawn on it, so that will give you your straight lines and help you out with some angles. And when you're going to recreate something with the poster board, measure it out and cut that piece out, tape it down to the mask. And if you have other things coming off of that, you know, just do it piece by piece. You know, it's like I have to flatten out my nose, so I've got the piece going down from that, and I need another kind of a corner in the bridge of my nose at the top. So I just made a triangle and taped it down to that. Try and make it as big as one piece if you can. If you need a corner in it, try and make the corner in 2 pieces, because if that way you can get easily an angle out of it, because if you do it in one piece after you put the grease in it, it won't be so easy, and you also might wind up breaking it, and it's going to change the shape of the sides of the mesh, and you're going to have to mess with that to fix it, and mess with the corner to fix it, and hope you don't break the corner. And if you can put on multiple pieces of the mesh on the mask at once, you can put them together with duct tape and then tape them down to the mask. Now, when you do have a piece of the mesh on the mask, you know, just tape it down, put it in the spot where you need it, because the mesh can break. Don't try and adjust the mesh. Just take it off and tape it down so you have the spot where you need it to be, and then put 2 layers of the cloth on there, let it dry before you put another piece on it, so that you don't mess with the cloth that's on that piece. Now for small little horns and spikes, you can just take the wire mesh and roll it together to get the size of this horn or spike you need, and then tape the edges together, and if you need it to have kind of a curve in it, you can play with it from there to, you know, get it to kind of look like what you want. It's okay if it's a little deformed, but try to get it as good as you can, and you've got yourself little spikes. But with horn spikes and other things like that, once you have it shaped the way you want it to be, tape it down to the mask and then put 2 layers of the plaster cloth on that, but don't plaster it to the mask, because once the plaster cloth is dried, cut it off the mask, and then you're going to put it on the fiberglass mask and then fiberglass this to the fiberglass mask. Now for large horns, you're not going to be able to freehand that with just the wire mesh. So you're going to have to build the base to put the wire mesh on to form the horn. To do that, you can use pieces of wire. 20 gauge steel is good enough. And you just cut out 4 pieces of the wire that are the shapes of the horn you need to make. For the backs and fronts of the horn, you just put them on the table and take a piece of tape and just tape them together, and do the same for the bottoms of it. Now when you're going to be putting on the sides of it, again, tape the corner into it and then take some more tape, put it on the end of the side of the horn, and start taping the ends of the tape together to give you how far away you want that side of the wire to be at the base of the horn. And once you have that tape pinched together, you just take the rest of it and tape it to the rest of the base of the horn. That way it's as far out as you need it to be, and it sits where you want it to. Now to start putting the wire mesh on it, just cut up strips of the wire. The larger the horn is, the wider the mesh is going to have to be. And every couple of inches, wrap the wire around the horn. Just tape an end of it, tape it to one of the wires, and just curve it around that part of the horn to give you the general shape that you want it to be, and then tape the end of it to keep it in place, and you'll have a piece of the horn. Okay, now once you have your pieces of wire going around the wire mesh, you want to take, those are too short, some more strips of the wire mesh. I'd say, again, the wider the horn is, the wider the piece of mesh needs to be. And take some more wire mesh, tape one piece of it to one strip that's already going around the horn. Curve it as you need it to be curved, and tape the other end to the next piece of the wire mesh, and you will get your horn. And as I said, with the small spikes and horns, tape it down to the mask where you want it to be, put 2 layers of the plaster cloth on it, don't plaster it to the mask. Once that plaster cloth has dried, cut it off the mask. Now if you're wanting to add small little things to the mask, like you want to put in some teeth on it, or like warts or something like that, wait until you've already fiberglassed the mask. You're going to be putting it on with air drying clay. As I said earlier, don't use Crayola's air dry clay because it's going to crack. And I will be covering that after I've showed you how to fiberglass the mask.